The official White House account just posted a video of all the undocumented individuals they've arrested for the most indefensible crimes possible, but leave it to MSNBC to defend them and blur out their faces.
Unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you.
So MSNBC isn't angry at all these horrendous crimes committed that were completely avoidable by having a secure border. They're only upset that these inconvenient tropes will be in the backdrop of whenever they try to tell you that Trump's policies are a bad thing. So they immediately go back into their desperate attempts at propaganda.
So I would encourage those individuals that have that as a backshot to blur those people out. The job of journalism is to ensure that we are presenting the facts, that we are cross-referencing. We know that PolyFact actually checked the Trump administration because of an earlier picture that they released on Kilmer, recognizing that it was altered, that it was false, that they had placed gang signs, tattoos on him that weren't real.
And let's be clear, they keep on saying he was using an altered image of the wrongfully deported man's hand, as they keep repeating wrongfully or mistakenly, when the only mistake was he wasn't sent away sooner. But just because the crowdfunding picture covered up the gang tattoos doesn't mean he didn't actually have them. The media's just saying altered because they added the text MS-13 to the image, which was just there to inform non-gang members what each of the symbols represent. But the corporate dinosaur media is hoping you're just stupid enough to not understand that. And speaking of stupid enough, Reddit is freaking out over the quote, alleged crimes posters, crying that the taxpayer paid for this and Doge isn't cutting wasteful spending, as they're suddenly upset over a couple hundred color posters, but had nothing to say over the $20 million that went to Iraqi Sesame Street or the other equally insane things that Doge discovered. Which makes me believe Reddit replies aren't actual people, but paid for AI bots, as you keep seeing the same upvoted posts about how trashy this is, trashy like Trump's base. The White House used to have dignity and statesmanship. Yes, the Biden years where mascots twerked on Easter Sunday, that held pride parties where the invited guests stripped their clothes off, and others left behind their party substances that mysteriously nobody knows who left behind there. And again, their arguments hold no consistency or values. It's just whatever the Trump administration does needs to be attacked, up to and including arresting people that commit violent crimes, as MSNBC can blur out their faces, and Reddit replies can push this trashy narrative, but they can't refute that these crimes actually occurred. They'll just put out posts claiming, if we deport MAGA men and replace them with immigrants, violent crime would drop 70%, and crimes against women and kids would be near zero, completely ignoring all 100 ICE arrests made recently, and more importantly, the liberal judge that was arrested for helping the migrant that has a similar criminal history. And absolutely nobody is arguing that every single migrant is doing this, but why is it whenever it does, the left not only insists on ignoring it, they sometimes champion them by fundraising hundreds of thousands of dollars, with Democrat politicians flying out to El Salvador to demand their release? And does the liberal media call them out? No, they again try to mislead their viewers.
One of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer, deported without medication or ability to contact doctors.
That's a misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. You guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
Just to be
Their headline would make you think Trump is going after sick kids when it's really just following the wishes of their parents. But in my opinion, desperation like this from the left is actually a good sign, as why would they waste their time crying about Trump's blue suit in a sea of several blue suits if they actually had legitimate criticisms of him. So at least the dumber they become, the easier it is to red pill normal people that are finally realizing their lies. And if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how the Tesla protesters are actually getting scammed.